Hello everyone, it's Laura. Today we are going to go over Digestion 101, how a healthy gut works. So I feel like it's very important for you to understand why the health of your GI tract is so important to your overall health. My goal throughout the program is always to give you the information and knowledge that you need to make better decisions about your health, and so you also can understand the why behind it. So let's get started. The jobs of a healthy gut are to digest and absorb nutrients, to be able to detoxify and eliminate. We need a healthy balance in our gut microbiome. We need to be able to maintain a strong intestinal barrier, and we also need to understand the gut-brain connection.
Let's start at the top. Digestion really begins when we prepare our meals. The smells of our food signal our brain to message the GI tract to prepare for digestion. It also makes us salivate. Once we start chewing our food, the amylase in our saliva starts to break down carbohydrates. Chewing well breaks up our food into small particles, and it makes it easier on digestion. Hence why eating too fast and not chewing well can lead to digestive issues. Then we swallow our food and it lands in our stomach, where it meets stomach acid with a good pH below 3, which kills bad viruses and bacteria. Pepsin starts to break down proteins there. Then the bile salts made in the liver are released from the gallbladder to emulsify fats, and the pancreas releases digestive enzymes to further break down fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. These disassembled pieces of fat, protein, and carbohydrates are absorbed in the first and second portions of the small intestines, along with fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, and water-soluble vitamins B's and C, and most of the minerals. Water and electrolytes and bile salts then get reabsorbed in the last part of the small intestine and colon. Bacteria there uses some of these nutrients to make vitamin K, which is for clotting, and short-chain fatty acids, especially butyrate, which is used to strengthen our intestinal gut lining. Now you've been on the magical school bus through the digestive tract. So if you don't remember that show, you're going to make me feel very old.
Now let's go over the basics of elimination and detoxification. This is important because we need to get rid of our waste, right? Unusable portions of food and toxic leftovers from cellular functions in the body, and also toxins ingested and absorbed from the environment. This comes out on the other end through stool, bile, and urine. We do need to have enough bile acids and salts that bind up these toxins so they can be carried out and eliminated. We need to have plenty of water with electrolytes and fiber to keep our colon clean and moving, so we should go about 1 or 2 times daily. I would also like to add to this list physical activity. Keeps us regular, and sweating also can help with detoxification as well. Detoxification or biotransformation is done in the liver. Biotransformation is a fancy word that refers to the enzymatic process of converting and neutralizing toxins into a safer form to be eliminated by the body. You will need enough bile salts or acids released by the gallbladder, and you will also need plenty of nutritional support, specifically vitamin B's and C, glutathione, and flavonoids or phytonutrients for your liver to detox properly. This is one reason I will always support someone taking a good quality multivitamin. We most likely do not have enough nutritional power from our diet alone to get the detoxification job done. You also need to be having regular bowel movements, about 1 or 2 daily. Otherwise, your poop is just sitting in your colon basically, and those toxins are getting reabsorbed and recirculated back into your bloodstream. This makes so much more work for your liver, on top of having those very toxic substances recirculating in your body, causing more inflammation and damage to your DNA. In the last 20 years, we have learned an incredible amount about the gut microbiome. The human GI tract is home to at least 100 trillion different bacteria and yeast microorganisms. There are more DNA bacteria in our body than our own, which is very crazy. Our microbiome is the balance of beneficial, which is good, commensal, which is either good or bad, depending on the type and amount, and then pathogenic or harmful bacterial colonies that are living throughout our GI tract. It is actually one of the most active metabolic systems in the human body. It helps to regulate blood sugar, process cholesterol and proteins, make vitamins and short-chain fatty acids that keeps our intestinal lining strong and healthy. When we have a balanced microbiome, our immune system is stronger and protects us from infection. It keeps bad bacteria in check so it doesn't overgrow. It also helps us to have regular bowel movements as well. An imbalanced microbiome is referred to as dysbiosis. Maintaining a strong intestinal barrier is extremely important. This diagram pictures what the intestinal lining looks like. The walls of the intestinal lining have these finger-like projections that increase the surface area of your gut to the size of a tennis court, which helps to absorb nutrients. Between these finger-like projections, there are these things called tight junctions, which act like a gate. They let in nutrients and vitamins and minerals, but keep out food particles, allergens, toxins, bacteria, viruses, and infections from getting into the bloodstream on the other side. These gates need to work properly, and this one cell layer thick intestinal wall lining needs to stay strong and intact. On the other side of it, there is your bloodstream, where your immune system is on guard to attack anything that shouldn't be getting through. There are also lots of lymph nodes stationed in your gut to assist in filtering viruses and toxins and bacteria. This is why almost 70 to 80% of your immune cells live in your gut. When these gates don't work right, the intestinal lining is compromised or permeable or leaky. This is when you will hear the term leaky gut syndrome, when the yucky stuff that should be staying out is leaking in. Leaky gut can be triggered by food allergies and food intolerances or sensitivities, imbalanced microbiome, accumulation of toxins, medications, stress, and also trauma. So there's a lot of things that contribute to leaky gut syndrome. Let's talk about leaky gut syndrome a little bit more. Here on the left side, there are common causes of leaky gut. And with the arrow pointing across to that right column, these are conditions and diseases that are commonly linked to those causes of leaky gut. So the lab work that I order will usually identify some of these underlying issues, which is why lab testing is so important to me. It's really difficult to fix something when you don't know what is broken. Okay, so let's talk about the brain-gut connection. This is all about the hypothalamus here, pituitary, and these little adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys. So the HPA axis, that's what it's called. It has many jobs and responsibilities in the body, and dealing with stress is one of them. So let's call it the stress management office. That's an easy way to describe it. The brain-gut connection should work just fine normally, but when we encounter high levels of stress or chronic stress, it can change our bowel movements. Hormones are released from the hypothalamus and the pituitary, and it signals the GI system to pick up speed, so to speak. It usually results in a lot of stomach pain and cramping and needing to use the bathroom right after we eat, and it's usually diarrhea. Some people would say food just moves right through me or goes right through me. So I basically have just described irritable bowel syndrome, which most of you have probably heard about or even experienced. And it is most often linked to high levels of stress or chronic stress, along with anxiety and depression. These stress-related bowel movements affects our microbiome and causes imbalances, and it also weakens our intestinal mucosal barrier that we talked about earlier. On top of it, it also overworks the immune system. So all of this adds up basically to more inflammation in the body, which creates more stress for the stress management office to deal with. So this is the hamster wheel of GI complaints and symptoms, followed by inflammation and stress and anxiety, and it's really difficult to stop. Unfortunately, conventional medicine can only offer us medications to band-aid these symptoms, but really the underlying issues of stress and inflammation are still there, and that's why functional medicine finds it so important to always address this. Here is a great diagram that shows you all the benefits of a healthy gut microbiome and how it affects all of the different areas. It helps with detoxification and energy production and communication between our brain and our hormones and neurotransmitters. It works with appetite control and immune protection. So if you're curious why I keep harping on gut health or why you hear about it so often, this is why, because it has so many jobs. I will always prioritize healing the gut first, because most of the time there's a lot of other issues that you're experiencing just because your gut is messed up. So once we address your gut issues and get it healthier, a lot of those downstream symptoms, so to speak, will probably resolve on their own, especially if you follow through and are consistent with your treatment. Here are some great tips for a healthy gut. Chewing your food well. They say it's recommended 20 times with every bite, which is a lot actually. So basically slow down when you're eating. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water every day with added electrolytes. Electrolytes are going to help that water be absorbed into your cells, which is where it really is needed. It's also going to help with digestion. You want to eat a colorful variety of fiber-filled fruits and vegetables. Testing your stomach acid is definitely something that's important, and we'll talk about that a little later. Also, you can take a digestive enzyme to help improve nutrient absorption, and that can also help to reduce some of your GI symptoms too. And of course, we always want to find healthy ways to manage stress. Well, that concludes Digestion 101. Hopefully, you better understand how your gut works and you understand why your gut health is so important. This will make things a little easier as we progress through the program. And when we talk about treatments and whatnot, you'll have a better understanding of why that works now. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon.